This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be doing an analysis on Jenna Ortega. She played Wednesday in the Netflix series. They have her as a ENTJ. We're going to see. We're going to test to see if our sworn enemy personality database has it correct. You know, we don't think highly of personality database because they let any and everybody vote. That's a flawed system there. They have ENTJ with 519 votes, INFP with 459 votes, INTP with 319 votes. Okay, so we're gonna break it down. We're gonna see what we get. We highly recommend you pick up Linda Barrens material if you want to be able to type yourself and others with 100% accuracy. She has the best metrics in the game. And while you're at it, go ahead and pick up Dario Nardi's material as well. He has wonderful contributions, and take your MBTI knowledge to the next level. But on to that, we're gonna get started here.
Well, I'll ask something. Unless you guys were ready to ask something.
No, go ahead, start. I'll go right after.
So how much of you is Wednesday Addams? No, I mean, what are your thoughts on the character? And I do wonder what you're bringing to
so you guys know what we always do. We look to see if they're direct, informative. Is their speech specific, concise, and to the point? Are they choosing their role in the conversation? Are they not leaving anything up for interpretation? Informative people do the opposite. It's vague, wordy, descriptive, takes a passive role in the conversation. As Linda Barrens quotes, they take a one-up. Direct people take a one-up, one-down positioning usually, and informative people take a one-down position. So they're trying to give you information to let you make a decision. But direct people are not doing that. They're telling you exactly what it is.
Wednesday Addams is a legend.
Wednesday Addams is a legend. That's TFI.
I think she's one of the coolest people on the planet.
I think she's one of the coolest people on the planet. TFI.
Or whatever universe she's from.
Or whatever universe she's from. That's abstract. Universe. Okay.
And I think something that I was very wary to, because I've never played someone who's been played by other actors before in the past, so that was a really interesting position for me to be in, and I think I learned a lot. But it's just important to me that whatever it was that I did was different. So whether that be certain mannerisms, whether that be the way that she handles certain social interactions, I think she's a bit more socially awkward, or a bit more a genuine.
I'm gonna go back on that.
For emotion that I did was different. So whether that be certain mannerisms, whether that.
So she wanted to be different.
I learned a lot, but it's just important to me that whatever it was that I did was different. So
whatever it was important to me, so it's TFI. Whatever it is that I did was different. That's gonna be pragmatic. I'm gonna put a point down for pragmatic, because she's talking about basically being different. That means she's being independent and not interdependent like affiliative people would be. So.
Whether that be certain mannerisms, whether that be the way that she handles certain social interactions, I think she's a bit more socially awkward, or a bit more a genuine misunderstanding for emotions or the way that other people go through them.
Okay, and I think that's the system she's describing that she uses to be different than the other actor for Wednesday.
So I think little things here and there, especially, I don't know, it was kind of crucial.
Like she said, it was very crucial. So I'm putting another point for pragmatic, because being pragmatic is talking about how to be effective. Basically, just talking about how to get things done. Affiliative is doing the right thing. Okay, affiliative is doing the right thing. Pragmatic people is how to be effective, how to get things done. Freedom, kind of somewhat rebellious. Affiliative is interdependent, inclusion, that type of thing. They like roles to be assigned. Pragmatic people don't like roles to be assigned because they want to be independent to choose their own path or whatnot.
It's one thing we can learn from this series about Wednesday that maybe we didn't know before from other iterations?
Maybe her passion for mystery. I think the show is really guided on her wanting to be a detective, and her, I think with someone who naturally has a serial killer's mind would genuinely be interested in that sort of thing. So I think it's really interesting to watch her. And something else I want to stress about the show too, because I never wanted it to seem like she was...
Okay, so that sounds like she was initiating there, but I'm going to go back. It seems that she's still staying on topic of what he said.
Maybe her passion for mystery. I think the show is really guided on her wanting to be a detective, and her, I think with someone who naturally has a serial killer's mind would genuinely be interested in that sort of thing. So I think it's really interesting to watch her. And something else I want to stress about the show too, because I never wanted it to seem like she was doing something out of the goodness of her heart. Because that wasn't what it was. It was more genuine interest. You know, she's not, I don't think she was ever going out intentionally to save lives or to be a hero, but more so, oh my God, how is this guy actually pulling this off? Or like jotting down her own notes sort of thing. And it was actually the frustration of not understanding, for the first time in her life, not understanding
okay, so right
somebody
there,
else's actions when they're being laid out.
She's talking about the process. Okay, so I'm gonna put down a point for process or movement or progression, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
So the big reveal in the trailer is that Christine Ritchie comes back. What was it like working with her on set?
It was incredible. I had been a really great admirer of her work for a very long time.
I've been a very great admirer of hers for a long time, so it's TFI.
She's an incredible actor. And then also, I mean, I watched the films an obscene amount of times before we started shooting on the scene, so it's weird because I'd grown so familiar with her over the years, and to see someone like that in person and watch them work in person, it's really wonderful. And I think that she elevates you in a sense that, you know, not all actors can. And she's very generous. She's very sweet.
She's very generous. She's very sweet. That's more TEFI. It's more FI, but TEFI is on the same axis, so we just call it the same. If you're an FI user, you're a TE user as well. So boom. Okay, so that eliminates, because we got 5 points there, we're gonna eliminate all the TI users. So now we're left with ESTJ, ENTJ, ESFP, ENFP, INTJ, ISTJ, ISFP, and INFP. So we're left with 8 types because we figured that out. Okay.
She's a really cool person. She always has really interesting.
She's a really cool person. Really have interesting things. More TEFI.
Wednesday's impact would be half as monumental.
So she's talking about Wednesday's impact. So that's gonna be SENI. You want to have the freedom to make an impact. SE.
If it had not been the work that she did as a child, which is an incredible feat, and I feel really lucky to have worked with her.
I feel very lucky to have worked with her. More TEFI. She's beating the shit out of TEFI.
I feel like you're hitting the bingo card of horror movies. Like you were on a great run right now.
Thank you.
So what about the world of horror like really appeals to you?
It's pure entertainment. It's pure fun. I think they're the best sets to be on because everyone wants to be there.
Okay, she's talking about what everybody else is doing. Everybody wants to be there. Shared experience. I'm gonna put a point down for SENI again.
No one's taking themselves too seriously because the whole point, I think...
No one's taking themselves too seriously.
I love all genres. I really do.
Love all genres. TFI.
And I do want to get into more drama, but the thing is, you're not trying to impress people necessarily. You're trying to give people a good time.
You're trying to give people a good time. SENI. Trying to make people comfortable. Trying to make people comfortable. Trying to make people enjoy things. That's an SE thing to do.
Serious is when it gets kind of muddled and not as exciting, but you know, you want to give people that rush of adrenaline. And
you want to give people that rush of adrenaline. SENI. You want to. NI, and you want to give people a rush of adrenaline. Yeah, so SENI, we got 4 points for SENI. And next one, we're going to eliminate all the SI types. And primarily, I'm seeing that she's direct. I'm not having a hard time following her. What she says is pretty specific, concise, and to the point. She's not really informing you of anything. She's not vague. She's choosing her role in the conversation, which is direct. Like we talked about earlier, I'm not really having much time following what she's saying. It's not vague, it's not wordy, it's not super descriptive. She's not adding extra words to things. So I'm almost ready to call her direct.
Also, for some reason, I don't know what it is about my face, but people just seem to really want to throw blood on it. So I think
what other people want to do. So that'd be what other people want to do. That's the point for any SI.
Maybe something to that, and it's put me in that position one too many times, and I don't hate it.
And now we know why you were cast.
I don't hate it. That's TFI. Don't hate it.
That being said, Alan Miles, one of the things they've said about the character is that she sees the world in black and white, and that each season, assuming there'll be seasons, she'll get a little more gray. See the world in a little more gray as it goes on.
Okay, look at her face right here. He's telling her what the character is going to be doing in the future, and no one has told her that. And responding people kind of sit and wait for people to come to them with information, as initiating people go to other people for information. And she's primarily responding in this interview. She's not changing the subject. She's not injecting anything. She's staying right on subject, like I said. And that shows that she's primarily responding. If you see an ENTJ like Donald Trump, they're consistently cutting people off, and they're also outcome focused. Okay, I haven't really heard much outcomes from her at all. So I'm ready to go ahead and say that she's direct. So I'm gonna go ahead and eliminate ENFP, INFP, ISFP, and ESFP. So we're looking at an ESTJ, ISTJ, INTJ, ENTJ. 1 more point for SENI, and we're going to eliminate ESTJ and ISTJ. We'll be down to ENTJ and INTJ. But she looks like she's primarily responding here. Look at her face when the guy tells us this information. She's the actor for Wednesday, and she doesn't know this. Why? Because she's responding, and she waits for people to give her information.
What said about the character is that she sees the world in black and white, and that each season, assuming there'll be seasons, she'll get a little more gray.
Look at her face.
See the world in a little more gray as it goes on. Is that, you're looking at me like, I didn't know that.
I did not.
So how do you her view of the world then, in the sense of what, like they're indicating that sort of a journey she'll be on to start seeing gray. What do you think?
I think that's a conversation to be had.
That's a conversation to be had. She's shocked. She doesn't know the information.
I think it's true. I do think it's true.
So we're gonna put responding with an asterisk to the side of it. Initiating people go to other people to get information. Responding people wait for other people to come to them to give them information. Okay, and in interviews and whatnot, they pretty much stay on subject. They don't change anything. Initiating people will change it all the time. Go watch some of the extras that we have typed.
Extent, because another challenge of this series is to have her be the titular character and have the emotional arc for an audience to spend so much time with someone for an hour-long
for an audience to spend so much time with people. So for an audience, let's keep going.
8 episodes, you have to have some sort of emotional growth or arc.
You have to have some type of emotional or growth. That's pragmatic, because she's telling you how to be effective. She doesn't care about what's the right thing to do. She's talking about how to be effective. Pragmatic people talk about that. How to get things done. Okay, if you want to capture people's attention, this is what you're gonna do. This is what she's talking about here. It's a pragmatic point.
I do think it's true to an extent, because another challenge of this series is to have her be the titular character and have the emotional arc for for an audience to spend so much time with someone for hour-long episodes, 8 episodes, you have to have some sort of emotional growth or arc as an individual. Otherwise, it's not going to be entertaining or exciting for anybody at all. So how do you do that with an emotionless character and still stay true to her background? Something that I was really scared of with the show.
The progression there, or the process there, so I'm putting another point down for that.
Or very hesitant to indulge in was putting her in every typical teenage scenario ever and having her become that sort of thing. We had a lot of discussions about lines that were being said or situations that she was put in because we've only ever seen Wednesday as a child. It's okay to be snarky, it's okay to be nasty when you're young because you don't know any better. When you're 15, 16 years old, you should know better. And it's not charming or cute anymore.
TFI telling you what's charming and not cute anymore. I'm telling you.
How you have to make it come from a place of genuine innocence and genuine excitement and passion for something. And I think that yes, she did have to form some relations this time, and she did a lot of emotional growth and has a better understanding as to, okay, so this is disrespectful, or I cannot get what I want by doing something like this. So I think that she's learning more about the world around her because she's at a previous school, Nancy Reagan, she never had to go outside of that. No one wanted to interact with her, no one wanted to speak to her, and she preferred it that way. So I think that, yes, she has a lot to learn or a lot to grow, but I think more so just by the characters that she meets outside of her world, and then also I guess unfortunately having to become a functioning member of society to a certain extent.
Unfortunately.
I love that.
So there's so many new characters introduced in this series. What was it like working with you with this huge legacy behind your character, and then other people who are completely fresh and built from scratch?
You mean just the process of new?
Yeah.
No, what was really exciting about it is because Tim and the DP and the guys, they really did such a great job as establishing not only character-wise, but also just visually her separation and isolation, ostracization from a community, that it was really easy, and everyone on set was down to play, and I think that that's really important, and you kind of feed off of one another, and it's funny to see Wednesday and somewhere where she's a complete fish out of water, and I think that when you give someone nothing, when they're giving you everything, is the most fun dynamic and most interesting to see, and more that I think people want to relate to that and want to see themselves in that. So I think that in establishing these new characters, it was fun because we did have complete freedom. Nobody knew anyone. You're not tied to any barrier.
He was talking about complete freedom. That's a SENI statement. Complete freedom. They like that, and that's pragmatic. Pragmatic people like freedom because they don't like roles assigned to them, because they want to be able to make the best or most effective decision. They don't like, I feel people like roles like given to them, as in pragmatic people don't like that. Okay, they do not like that. They like to be somewhat, as some people will say, they're contrarians, rebellious, that type of thing. They like to be independent. Okay, that's why they like their freedom. Okay, I feel that people like to be included in things, inclusion or whatnot. So, yeah. She is 4 points for pragmatic at this point, and SENI is closed off. With SENI closed off, that eliminates ESTJ and ISTJ, and we are down to ENTJ and INTJ. And primarily, we have noticed that she is responding. She's not talking about outcomes. I mean, so let me just break it down to you. ENTJs are outcome focused, so they're always talking about the outcome of everything. Outcome in their speech. As in, INTJs care about the process of doing things, so they talk about the movement to things or the progression to things. And we already got 2 points for that, and she's primarily responding. So we're ready to go ahead and call her an INTJ and not an ENTJ. ENTJs would have been changing the subject like left to right, and they would have been talking about outcomes. She's not doing that. She's staying on topic. She hasn't changed the subject one time so far.
Barriers, not whatever. But also, I was fortunate to cast really wonderful actors who were able to push themselves in ways and and yeah, just up for collaboration.
Is there much Adam's family interaction, or is it really kind of like Morticia and Gomez and Pugsley, whoever is going to be be there peripherally, but it's really going to be Wednesdays? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely Wednesday's story. They're there for good relation, and I think
She's very direct. She's very direct. She's not informative at all. Can't be an INFP.
What a beautiful image, and when you have the opportunity to do it with Luis Guzman and Catherine Zeta-Jones, you probably should take that opportunity. Yeah, but it's definitely, I mean, she's sent off to boarding school, and I would say, like, one of the most important relationships in this first season is the relationship between Morticia and Wednesday, because I think any teenager can relate to them, especially when they begin to go off on their own, the search or wanting to claim your independence and separation from your family. You know, as much as you may love someone, you still want to be your own person. And for Wednesday to attend a school like Nevermore, where her parents have such a history and everyone's obsessed with them and they're so great and they're so this and that, it makes you sick to your stomach. So I think that they play a very important role, but you do spend a majority of the time in school.
I think from what you
So she's just waiting till another person will ask another question. She's not changing things. She's not introducing anything. She's responding, dude.
just saying Wednesday might really enjoy the idea of being on her own, not living in that shadow, essentially creating a legacy that's her own. Would you say that's the case?
Yeah, I would say that's definitely the case. I don't think she ever felt like, it's never like, I was in a shadow of my own family's personal shadow. I don't think it's ever coming from that place, but it's just like, get a grip. Like, these are a bunch of wimps. Like, they couldn't accomplish what I could accomplish.
They're a bunch of wimps. They can't accomplish what I could accomplish. TEFI. They're a bunch of wimps. They can't accomplish what I've accomplished.
You know, I think that she sees a successful future for herself, and it's hard when you're constantly being reminded of your parents' success.
She sees a future for herself. That's an I, and it sucks to be reminded. Yeah, so.
Sort of thing. So yeah, it is.
SENI for seeing the future for yourself.
Not because she doesn't love them.
Your path. Your future.
She's capable.
Right.
Deserves it.
Yeah, I see that for sure. No, I'm sorry.
How heavy a burden is it to be sort of the centerpiece of a TV show like this? Or an 8-hour movie?
Yeah, I've actually led it. I've led a TV show before, and
I have led a TV show before. SENI. I have led a TV show before.
I think with a character I was fortunate to have that experience, but I think that this job required the most from me than any job I've ever had, because of the pressure of her being such an iconic, beloved character, cello, fencing, archery, different languages, things like that, being in practically every scene, communicating with a hand that's not really there. Like, there was a lot that went into. It was, okay, do your 12 hours of this, come in 2 hours early for hair and makeup, then you have this lesson and this lesson after your work. And on Saturday, Netflix is going to come and you guys are going to do photo shoot and do this and that. It's like, you're shooting for 8 hours in a country that I did not know the language, on the opposite side of the world, so you can't really phone home because everyone's asleep when you're awake, and vice versa. It was like, yeah, it felt like by the time we ended the job, I felt like I had survived something, which was a great relief, but it's really hard because you just want to do this character justice, and you grow to really love and want to protect the people that you play.
You really want to love and protect the people that you play. More TEFI.
When someone as sacred of an image as Wednesday, I think
sacred of an image as Wednesday, TEFI.
There is a lot of pressure. I think if anything, it was just wanting to protect her.
Are you ready to do it again if they pick it up for a second season?
I think I have to be.
You can do it. Doesn't mean you're ready for it again.
I think
you want to go back into it again.
100. I mean, I love her.
I love her. TEFI. Come on.
Always been in love with her. I always have, and that was a big part of the reason why I even accepted the job, because I actually wasn't interested in doing television again. But the opportunity to work with someone like Tim, and I can't think of anybody else.
Opportunity to work with someone like Tim and TEFI.
Or anybody of Latin descent who reaches as big or has as big of a platform adoration as Wednesday does.
Oh yeah, boy, you're killing TFI right now. I already got like 16, 17 points for that right now.
The opportunities like this do not come very often, and I definitely wasn't expecting it. And I'm very, very grateful and honored to have even had my name thrown out there, let alone been a part of it for the last.
My name thrown out there for it. TFI.
I got more if you.
I have one. So you're talking with Alan Miles about how the show blends so many genres, and it's not just so much the gothic, eclectic horror aesthetic that we've seen in the past. It's also a mystery show, a teen show. What was it like conquering that sort of blended genre in this show?
Again, it's really interesting to do that with someone who is written as not caring about the world around her at all. You have to care. But I mean, that's always fun for me because it's more exciting that way. That's what people want to see.
That's what people want to see. What people want to see. That's any statement. What they want. What people want.
Escape from reality. That's why we create shows that are so.
That's where we escape from reality.
You don't have to think about waking up for your 9 to 5 or going to school the next day or whatever project it is that you do. So it's like, yeah, as much as you can establish a world that is a roller coaster ride of experiences and emotions, I would encourage everyone to do that because people want a good time, and I think that
I would encourage everybody to do that because people want a good time. What people want. Any statement.
Is able to access all of the genres and not take itself so seriously, it can be a really beautiful thing.
My understanding is Tim Burton directed 4 of the episodes in 4 hours of the 8 hours. So what was the difference between working with Tim and working with the other directors?
Just very different styles, and it was quite confusing because we did episodes 1 and 2, 6 and 5. 3, 4, 8, and 7. So it was, that's another thing too, navigating that emotional path. But
navigating that, how I went about it, the process. She went through the progression there, 1 and 2, 8 and 5, blah blah blah. Yeah, she's responding. She's staying on top, and she isn't changing anything. So yeah, she's Jenna Ortega is an INTJ. She's a TFI user. She's direct. She's SENI. She's abstract, pragmatic, and responding. And has progression. So she's not an ENTJ, she's actually an INTJ. ENTJs would be changing the subject, they would be initiating, and they'd be talking about outcomes, and that's not what she's talking about. So, we got her as an INTJ. And if you want to compare and contrast, go compare and contrast the extroverts that we have typed, and you will see they initiate like all the time. Go watch Donald Trump, he's an ENTJ, he initiates so much. And if you go and watch Donald Trump, he is literally beating the hell out of TFI. He puts TFI on everything. The biggest this, the greatest this, the biggest that. But yeah, so let's go back. Personality database, yet again, you got this wrong. 519 people wrong. 459 people who guessed INFP got it wrong. She's not informative. She's not informative, and she's not outcome. So she can't be an INFP. And she's not people focused. And INTP is also wrong. She's not informative. So yeah, we got Jenna Ortega as a INTJ. Comment below if you disagree or not, and tell us why. Tell us exactly why you think she's ENTJ, INFP, or whatnot. And if you want more celebrities type, just let us know. But this is Mongolian Mindset, and we're done here.